Hello everyone, welcome to the new video of the Mate in 2 series. Well, as you can see, we have a position in which white has an overwhelming force. So even if he wouldn't find a mate, he would probably be winning here. Not probably, for sure. Well, one thing that comes to mind is that maybe you can somehow destroy this knight on e8, which defends the g7 square, and then just mate black king, something like this, and then just mate. Well, that is very nice thinking, but there is one problem. There is a black queen on b2, which defends the g7 square, so this is actually not a mate, but that's actually a losing continuation. So that doesn't work. For the same reasons, attacking the g7 square doesn't work either. Well, g7 is so well protected. Once we spotted that black actually has a queen on b2, we have to look for something else. So after some thinking, we can notice that if this king would be on f8, and let's say we didn't have this rook, we could just deliver the mate on f7. And with that kind of thinking, we arrive to the solution, which is rook f8 check, luring the black king to the unfavorable square and at the same time freeing the f7 square for our queen. Black's reply is forced and we just deliver the mate. That was fairly simple and also very nice. So at the same time you can see two tactical motifs, luring the opponent's king into an unfavorable square and freeing the square for yourself, so you can actually mate. So okay, this was fairly easy once you realize that you cannot go on g7 because of the black's queen. But let's say the position was a little bit different, something like this. So here we have a different situation. Now black is up in material, and fortunately it is white to move, so maybe he can somehow do something against this king, because otherwise he's just lost. So the most natural looking move here is just to give this check, hoping that black will defend with his knight, and then we can deliver the mate. Well, black could defend much better here. Instead of blocking with a knight and allowing white to mate him, he could actually sacrifice his queen. And now white has no choice. He has to take the queen. But now black can block with the knight, because this queen is no longer on this diagonal, and also this bishop is hanging, and also black is having a good material balance against this queen, but that's actually not the most important thing. The most important thing is that this king is so open that white is just lost here. First, you need to move this bishop somewhere. There is no question about that, because if you just try to do your own thing, black will simply capture that bishop. So let's say you go here in order to cover this second rank, so it's not a mate in one. Well, still, after this check and king goes here, black wins even more material, and the position is just hopeless for white. That's why rook h5 is actually not a good move. But there is something here. It's a very nice move. It's kind of similar to the previous position, at least in a sense that we use one same motif, and that is luring the opponent's king onto an unfavorable square. Well, if you remember, when we gave this check, black could just take the rook. But if this check would be a double check, then black could not act against it. So what we do first is we sacrifice our queen, and we again lure the black king into an unfavorable square. He has to take it, and now this check on h5 is not only a check, but it's a double check. And it's not only a double check, but it is a mate as well. So, as you already know, maybe, I mentioned it once earlier, when you give a double check, the only way for an opponent to act against it is to move his king, because if two pieces are giving the check at the same time, you can never take one of those pieces because the other one will be still giving check, and you cannot take two at the same time. You also cannot block because of the same reason. And here the bishop is taking the g6 square and the rook is taking this file, and the knight is also preventing the king from going back and this pawn, and also you cannot block, as I said earlier, because of the diagonal check. So that was a nice mate. We can see it one more time. In this position, instead of going rook h5, we sacrifice her queen for the immediate result, that is a checkmate. That is all for now. I hope you enjoyed the video, and goodbye.